Welcome to Lisa Frankenstein filming locations. I've managed to find them all. I either found them on my own or I found them with help from a member of the production team. Now, that person's going to remain nameless because I don't want to get them in trouble. In the description box below, you'll find the addresses and/or GPS coordinates for each location as well as how I found them. I'll cover each location in the order in which it appears in the film, so we'll start things off with Bachelor's Grove. Now, since Bachelor's Grove looks like any random forest to the casual observer, I will prove I found it by using two trees. The twisted tree, which is right here, and the leaning tree, which is back here. And here's another angle of those two trees from a bit later in the film. Here's the twisted tree, and here is the leaning tree. And here I am in Bachelor's Grove. Now, again, we'll look at these two trees, the twisted tree on the left and the leaning tree on the right, somewhat hidden by that shrub. The only way I could have found Bachelor's Grove in Brechtel Park was to come here in person. The exact GPS coordinates are below, so you too can go and hang out in Bachelor's Grove. Interestingly, there was this pit in the middle of it. I don't know if that's natural or if that's left over from the production. But one thing I did find that might be left over from the production was a little white flag. And here's that little white flag that I found in the middle of Bachelor's Grove. I can think of no other reason it would be here than for it to be part of the production. Right over here is the twisted tree and the leaning tree, twisted tree, leaning tree, the pit. So this will help you figure out exactly where the flag is when you come here. I left the flag behind, but if you want to take it, no one's going to stop you. It seems old enough, about 2 years from the time I'm shooting this. Something was living in it, so I just left it behind. But again, if you visit Bachelor's Grove and you want to grab it, it's almost certainly from the film. And here we have Lisa's house. It looks almost exactly like it did in the film, the only difference being that I could tell the white picket fence is gone. In the back, there's the shed that Taffy had her tanning bed in that Lisa used. And up here is Lisa's room, the roof she climbed out on, the gutter she hung from, front yard that she wrestled with Creature. Over there's the mailbox. In the film, it's white. It's now black. Across the street's the neighbor's yard where the neighbors were sitting out front talking about that weird girl across the street. They also got a white picket fence that isn't there anymore. So there's Lisa's house. Taffy and Lisa then go to a party and they take this road. The only reason I know that is because of the person on the production team telling me which road it was. Here's the entrance to the party house. Unfortunately, you can't see anything from the street, so visiting the party house is completely useless. So I will switch over to Google Maps so that I can pull back and you can at least see the structure from the air. So I've switched over to Google Maps at the same location. I'll go ahead and pull back so that we can get 3D aerial view. And here is the house. So for anyone who's seen the film, you'll remember that Taffy parked here. The kids were gathered around the pool. Lisa talked with Michael and his girlfriend over here, and this is where Lisa got drugged and then found her way inside. Doug intercepted her, and they had shenanigans upstairs before Lisa finally left. Again, the only reason I know where this place is, I never would have found it on my own, was because the person on the production team told me. The next sequence we have is when Taffy tells her friends about how Lisa's mom was killed by an axe murderer. That takes place in this house here. The only reason I know that is because the person on the production team gave me the address for it. Outside of the house is never shown in the film. This house is, however, on Zillow, so if you want, you can go over to Zillow, put in the address, and it will show you pictures from inside the house, including the living room where the attack happened. And you can also see the sliding glass door that the axe murderer comes through. Next is Lisa's dry cleaning job that she goes to. I did manage to find this on my own, but I wasn't entirely sure. The production person confirmed it for me. So once I came here, I went inside and was very, very nice to the lady who worked there and got permission to film inside. Here we have where Lisa and Wayne were standing inside the store. As you notice, it looks very much like it did in the film. Here's where Michael comes in with his girlfriend. Now through this window back here is the blue building that I used in order to find this location. But again, I wasn't sure until the person from the production team confirmed it for me. The next location we see is Lisa's school, which is Belle Chase High School. in Belle Chase. As you can see, I'm standing on the sidewalk. I am not trespassing on a school. We never see the exterior of the school in the film. The only reason I know it was this school is because the person on the production team told me. Next location is back to Brechtel Park, where Lisa is sitting on a bench and lures Doug to Bachelor's Grove so she can cut off his hand. And I have my chair right where the bench would have been. Lisa then takes Doug and goes down this path on their way to Bachelor's Grove. Lisa will later use this path again to go to Bachelor's Grove, but I won't revisit it because it's only so interesting to look at a path. For the next sequence, I went here and shot footage, but it was so foggy because of the humidity that it's not usable, so I'll just cheat and use Google Maps. This was where Creature goes to retrieve Janet's car and is confronted by a grumpy old man. The camera films this way of the grumpy old man and the little boy trying to start the mower, and then it spins around and films this way where Janet's car is. Now, because this image is so old, from 2011, the decorative grass that you can see in the movie is not here yet, so I will move out to this street and get a current date so that we can see that decorative grass. There it is, and Janet's car is parked right here. Lisa then leaves the school through these red doors, and that's the only exterior shot we get of the entire school. The next shot is Creature driving down this street. In fact, the next several scenes all take place on this street from various angles. We see Lisa walking down the street and Creature pulls up next to her in the car, and we see it from this angle and then also from the reverse angle. And here's the reverse angle. Lisa gets in the car with Creature and they drive off down the street. They drive for a little bit and then Creature stops in front of this house, which in the film has a bunch of pink flamingos in the yard. Creature is unable to dissuade Lisa on her course of actions, so they head on off to Michael's house, which in reality is just around the corner. And then they arrive at Michael's house. This house is also on Zillow, so you can go to Zillow and look inside of it and see the staircase that Lisa climbs up, the chandelier matches. You can also look inside this bedroom up here on the upper right where Taffy and Michael are found by Lisa. Creature parks right in front of the 10, and then he looks in front of him and he sees Taffy's red car over here by that swing. Back to Brechtel Park, where Lisa and Taffy are driving trying to find Creature, and they come down this section of street here and then see his car. Lisa then parks next to Janet's, now Creature's car, and the camera shoots in this angle only very briefly while they're parked next to that tree. They then move the camera and move the cars and cheat for this next shot, which is just behind me, so I'll spin around and reposition, and you can see the small tree that the camera faces towards, and in front of that small tree are the two cars, and in the background in the shot you can see that hill and all those posts. After Taffy escapes, she comes to this place and is stopped from crossing the street by a car. This is the same park that Lisa was picked up by Creature at a few scenes earlier. So they film Taffy coming at us, and then the camera switches position and Taffy crosses the street, and the camera films Taffy going towards the levee. And the final sequence in the film takes place at the cemetery. That's where Lisa's tombstone was set up, and I know this because of that cross right there is very visible in the scene where it pans back. Dale and Taffy walk off down this direction. I know that because of the large leaning tombstone that I'm zooming in now. Shows exactly which direction they're walking. And then I will spin around and show the direction the camera faces them for most of the sequence. And I know exactly how to line up because of two tombstones. The tombstone here that's shaped kind of like a wine bottle, and then another tombstone that is in the middle between where Dale and Taffy were standing. Dale was here, Taffy was here, and that little white cross tombstone was directly between them. So that's how I know exactly where this spot is. And the final location is never seen in the film, but it's very important because it's where all the interiors were filmed. That was at NIMS Center Studio. And the way I figured that out was because of that awning there shows up prominently in a video of a group photo being taken of the cast and crew at this location. And all I had to do was look at each studio in New Orleans to figure out which one it was at. And they were sitting right where that black SUV is now. And I will close things out by recreating the camera movement back at the bench, where it is revealed that Lisa is in Creature's lap as he reads poetry to her. And I will even sit in the chair so that you can have the same view that Lisa and Creature had at the very end of the film. And there you have it. There's all the filming locations from Lisa Frankenstein.